Welcome everyone, I'm the Depressed Eeyore, and this is Touhou Soccer 2. Though I think it says Touhou Soccer right there, but whatever. So, some of you guys were probably like, oh god, not this game again. But I'm pretty sure most of you guys are like, I don't even know what this game is, because it's all the way in the back end of my channel. This is like the first game I Let's Played, mainly because this is the game I really wanted to Let's Play. It was the game I was like, if I start Let's Playing, I want to start with this game first. And then I saw someone else already doing it, and so it got me into doing it. What I did was a travel mode originally, which I did most of. I just did some sort of little gimmick team that I messed around with. It was back when like I said, it was literally like the first LP I ever did, so I was very soft-spoken back then. I did already kind of say all my stuff about this game, but for those of you who are not familiar with it, this is like take Final Fantasy X's Blitzball and add some depth to it, and you'll essentially have this game. It's also based off an actual soccer game. It used like the same rule sets and stuff. That was based off a soccer anime, but I don't remember what it was called. I think it was like Tsubasa something or whether. I don't know. But anyway, I mentioned this in my update video that I was going to go back to a certain Touhou game and take care of things that I hadn't done before. I don't think the Cole 77 has even done this either. Or sorry, the Goal 777 hasn't done it. He's done the main scenario. I've done most of travel mode. I mean, majority of it. There's a few matches I missed, and I didn't do the final match for certain reasons. But what I have that I haven't really seen much on the net is the sub-scenarios, and there's probably some good reasons for it, because the sub-scenarios are very frustrating. And who am I to turn away from a frustrating scenario? So let's do this. So, these are the sub-scenarios. You probably briefly saw something pop up in the middle there. That was the Lily White and Black scenario, which only gets unlocked after you beat all the other scenarios. Now, I haven't actually beaten all the scenarios. I just happen to have a file that has everything unlocked already. Essentially, if you beat this main story mode and beat all the sub-scenarios, including Lily White and Lily Black, you unlock the Footsteps of Spring item in the travel mode, which means you start out with a really good item whenever you start travel mode, which is always nice. Anyway, as you can see, there are multiple scenarios. You got Reimu, Marissa, Mima, Sakia, China, Cerno, Rumia and Mistia, Scarlet Sisters, Yomu and Udong, or also known as Ryson, and Aya and Alice's scenario. I've done all the 1 and 2 stars on my own, for the most part, and I actually have done some of the 3 stars. I kind of stopped when I attempted to do Rainbow scenario because I found it very frustrating. Though I have to say, every time I come back to this game, I do seem to always learn something new, which always impresses me. So I'll try to go over some of the stuff as we go. I think I want to go ahead and start with Aya. Aya is pretty easy to do. Out of all, even as 1 stars, it's pretty much the easiest to do. Cerno can be a little frustrating sometimes, simply because Cerno is not exactly that strong of an offensive character, and that's what the game expects you to use her for. Anyway, Aya scenario. Unlike my first attempt at playing this, well, my first playthrough of this game, I will actually read the dialogue. So, Aya scenario. After Hakure United won the previous tournament, Aya worried about, After Hakure United won the previous tournament, Aya worried about future articles. To find more scoops, she became a player herself, yet she worked to make her teammates look better. However, she found appropriate rivals who would accept nothing less than her best. So let's get this going. Wow, today's perfect. Wow, today's weather is perfect for looking for scoops for my newspaper. Scoops, scoops. Hold it right there. We'll make you pay this time. How dare you run off on your own during the last tournament? You want to find out how mad we are at you for abandoning us? What? If you guys had played better, we would have won that match. Trying to shift the blame, are you? You're even more of an idiot than I thought to go that far. Oh, I smell a scandal. It seems that Miss Cerno is being pursued. Maybe there's a bowling problem in Gensokyo. We've got you now. Now time to work out our frustration from the tournament. But what? If you're going to do something, go ahead. A spinning bug and a bird that's killed in 2 stones are no problem for me. In that case, maybe lending a hand to Miss Erno will be interesting. That way it'll be more even. Ah, the paparazzi! Ah, the reporter who turns her head away from authority. How many names like that do I have? What do you want? Are you here to pick on me too? On the contrary, I think that playing against those two by yourself is rather unfair, so for now I shall assist you. But really? Well, do your best to not get in my way, okay? Yep, you got it. That crow, she's planning something. So she's hatching a scheme? Stop it, Misty. I'm weak against the cold, and lame jokes make me shiver. Alright, Bombaro Gales versus the Club Knight Sparrow. Alright, quick briefing. Those two are pretty good, but I'm the strongest, so we're invincible. You all, well, just do your best. Miss Erno, you're good at defending, so let me handle the offense if you please. That is good advice. That's what I mentioned, that Erno's not really good at offense, and that's completely true. So let's go ahead and take a quick look at what we start with. We don't actually, just like in story mode, we don't actually have any control over what characters we have. We do actually have a somewhat decent goalie. We have Daiyousei. Daiyousei doesn't exactly have the best stats. You could probably consider her maybe an average goalie, which generally in this game is not that good. But she does have a special, which is rolling save, which makes it very easy for her to catch the ball a lot of times. It's also very cheap. It only costs 120 guts. Speaking of which, I probably should explain some of this. For those of you who are not familiar with the game, guts, I'm going to do this comparison with Final Fantasy X's Blitzball. Essentially, guts is just like HP. Guts is used for everything. When you dribble, you lose guts. When you pass, when you tackle, when you dribble, when you shoot, when you do special moves, all that costs guts. If you run out of guts, you can still dribble like normally, but the moment you get into an encounter with someone, you won't be able to do anything because you have no guts, and they'll just take the ball from you. Stats over there, some of them you actually had to look in the manual to kind of figure out what some of these do, but essentially you got base stats and then you have skill stats. The base stats, power, affects how well you do tackles and ground shots. It also has increases your chance of knocking people away when you do certain moves. Technique improves your ability to pass, I believe. Oh, it influences dribbles and air shots. Reactions affects your ability to actually try to attempt to intercept any balls that pass over you. So sometimes even if you're not in the counter, you can try to intercept the ball while it's in mid-flight. High ball is just a bonus that is applied to your shot stat, which this character doesn't have it because she's a goalie. Low ball is the same thing. So if you're at the goal and you have a ball passed to you that ends up being high above you, you'll get a bonus that based off the high ball, and if it's off the ground but still kind of low, you'll get the low ball stat. Dribble speed affects how fast you dribble. Dribble cost affects how much guts it costs per step to dribble. It's not actually 30. Take that number and divide it by 10, and that's how much you'll lose every step. So in most cases, it's going to cost you about 3 per step to dribble. Recovery affects how quickly you recover guts whenever you don't have possession of the ball or you're not doing anything. So generally, having high recovery means you can actually do more stuff even after you run out of guts. Alright, and then skill stats, these are two different sets. There's one for goalies and one for everyone else. For goalies, you got punch, catch, jump, versus dribble, and versus shot. For punch, essentially when a ball is shot towards the goalie will have 2 options. You can either punch it or catch it. You also do special saves, so I guess you got 3 options. Punch has a higher success chance, higher basic success chance than catch. What punch does is you literally just punch the ball away. It's very reliable, but at the same time, when you do things like that, you run the risk of being knocked off balance. And you also have no control over where the ball goes, really. So when you punch the ball, there's a chance they'll go straight back to one of their players, and then they can shoot you while you're off balance. But it's reliable. So for catch, it's less reliable. But if you succeed at it, you'll catch the ball, and then you can just immediately pass it to one of your teammates automatically without any issue. Sometimes catch doesn't succeed all the way. It can only be like a partial success, and in which case it will end up being kind of similar to a punch, but kind of you'll also be knocked off balance. Jump is when if a ball is passed right to a player that's right before the goalie, you can either choose to jump at the ball or remain in place. If you choose to remain in place, that means you can go ahead and do punch and catch like normal whenever she attempts to shoot it. But if you attempt to jump it, you can do a risky move where you jump for the ball to try to grab it ahead of time, and you'll just, if you succeed, you get the ball and then you can pass it back to your team. If you fail, they get the ball and the goal will be empty because you just left the goal. So that means they get pretty much a free goal unless they happen to hit the goalpost. Versus dribble versus shot is in a case when you take a player and rush the goal. You pretty much rush all the way to the goal. You'll do a special encounter between you and the goalie itself, or herself rather, and you only get these two options. You can either choose to predict it to be a dribble, which means the player is going to try to dribble around you and then score, or you can predict that it's going to be a shot immediately where they try to shoot a shot around you. And picking the right one will give you bonuses, and then of course it's based off those stats. So if you predict dribble, you do it based off versus dribble, and so forth. Alright, as far as the other stats, you got dribble, pass, shoot, tackle, intercept, block, trap, clear, fake, and challenge. Yeah, like I said, there's a lot more skills in this than in Blitzball. All of them are self-explanatory. The skills are literally what you do. So if you do a command that involves dribbling, or any command that does dribble, you just use the dribble stat. If you're shooting, you use the shoot stat. If you're doing clears and fakes and challenges, it uses those skills. Like, they'll literally label those skills when you do them. So some of them are situational, like you can't do things like trap, clear, fake, and challenge unless you're like either at the opposing goal or at your own goal, which we'll go into later. So pretty standard stuff. Alright, let's go ahead and just quickly go over what we have in our team. We have a bunch of there are different types of generics. Generics are pretty much just mostly awful players. But there's different types of them. Fairies and Kodamas generally have just normal stats all around. As you can see, this fairy has 25 in all her skill stats, has no real base stats. So yeah, she's just kind of just there. She's fodder. There are some other generics that have a little bit like specialization. Like one of their skills might be slightly higher than the others, but it's nothing too fancy. These characters are people you generally want to replace as quickly as possible if you're doing travel mode. Okay, alright, and who else do we have? We have Aya. This is our main character for this particular storyline. You can see that I have, let's see, I'll go ahead and read her description. A reporter in Gensokyo who publishes the Bun Bun Maru newspaper. She runs around the field with the fastest feet in Gensokyo. Her specialty is shooting while running at top speed. So yeah, that's her thing. She moves, as you see, her dribble speed is 25. It's one of the highest, if not the highest, dribble speed in the game. The bad part is she has a dribble cost of 40, which means she uses 4 points of guts every step as opposed to 3, which you might think is not much, but it does add up very quickly. If you're using her for offense, which you should be, she will use up her guts rather quickly just from dribbling. She does do really well against high, doing air balls, where she just, does various area shots. And besides that, she has really good reaction, so she's good at interception, and her overall stats are pretty decent. As you can see, her overall skills are pretty decent. She is definitely built more for offense than defense. She has better dribble and pass than tackle and intercept. And as for her special ability, she has Wind God's Fan, which is a special shot, Thunderclap Gale, which is an aerial shot, which means you can only use it if you get an air ball. And then you got Wind God Girl, which is a special dribble, which essentially what the special moves do is they'll generally boost your stats a bunch, as well as have their own stats such as strength that will affect how well you can knock people away. Essentially, if you're just doing this for the first time, you should only have Wind God's Fan and Wind God Girl. You shouldn't have Thunderclap Gale. One of the other reasons to do these special sub-scenarios is to unlock new moves, and that's exactly what this was for. eventually we will actually do a special event that will unlock Thunderclap Gale for Aya, but since I've done it already, I already have it, but I won't use it until I officially unlock it. Okay, so nothing too special. Her shots are okay. They're not, I guess you can't, they're not very efficient, and they need to be used at close range. Aya does also have one other special ability, which I'll try to explain whenever I have that opportunity. It's kind of a special thing that I'll explain. Anyway, Fairy, Lily White. Lily White, the fairy that heralds the arrival of spring. This time, she is heralding while playing soccer. Lily White is very cost efficient if you're using her in travel mode. Her stats are okay. She's not like an advanced player, she's generally average, but she's a good average player. I mean, she's very cheap, very cost efficient. That's really all I can say about it. She has two moves. She has Lethal Twin and Rainbow Pass. Lethal Twin is a special shot that gets unlocked in her scenario, which can only be, it's a combination shot. She can only do it with Lily Black, which we don't have. So all she can really do is Rainbow Pass, which is a special pass, which is a really good pass, so no worries there. Fairy Cerno. An Ice Fairy, her tiny body possesses a lot of guts and fast recovery, has strong defensive abilities, and a powerful long-distance special shot. As you can see, Cerno has a lot of guts. She has 903. Her stats are not too fantastic, and her skills are not even that good either, but her, where is she got? Her Facial Icicle Fall and Combination Icicle Fall is one of the best, if not the best, defensive maneuver in the game. It's very reliable. It's also very expensive. Combination Icicle Fall can only be done if you have Letty in your party, and which we don't. So she can only do Facial Icicle Fall, which is still really good. Also, a neat thing about Combination Icicle Fall is usually when you use combination shots, that cost there is applied to both characters. Combination Icicle Fall is an exception, where it only costs Cerno the guts. It doesn't cost Letty the guts, so it's very efficient. Okay, so yeah, she's meant for defense. The other thing to note is she has two special shots. One's a combination shot, -9, which can only be used with Letty, which we don't have Letty with us. Her other shot is Perfect Freeze, which is not that powerful of a shot. The main issue is her base stat power. Her power stat's only a 2, which is really weak, which makes her shot not as effective. I mean, it's still okay. It's kind of low stats for a special shot, but the main gimmick for Perfect Freeze is it has 0 decay, which means generally when you shoot a shot from a long distance, it loses power the further it goes. In the case of Perfect Freeze, though, it doesn't lose any power, so you can actually use it from anywhere with no issue. Cold Affinity is a special... I think it's a special challenge. It's either a challenge or a special clear, I don't remember which. But, I mean, they're both essentially the same thing. But they're... actually, I think it's a special clear. I'll say it's a special clear, why not? It's a special clear, very reliable. Unfortunately, since it's a clear, clears are not exactly reliable in themselves. I'll explain more about clears and stuff like that as we go along. And I think that's everybody. Yeah, all we have left is Daiyousei. The fairy that supervises Cerno. Average as a Goalkeeper, but her special technique is strong. Her guts consumption and ability are reasonably efficient. So as a goalie, she's generally, like it's mentioned, is average. She's pretty cost efficient as well if you're playing in travel mode. And there you go. We don't have any substitutes. You can actually swap players in if you have spares, but we don't. Opponent data. We are going up against a whole lot of generics. These ones are pretty much all the same level. They have a good generic Goalkeeper, so just by the low stats and no special abilities. And we got to deal with wriggle and mistia. Alright, Mistia, the Night Sparrow yokai that confuses opponents by singing, excels in mid-air battles. Most importantly, she has a very high fake stat. As you can see, she does. It's our highest stat. Unfortunately, fakes are not exactly the best thing to use. I'm not really good at using them, is the problem, I guess. Anyway, her stats are she's kind of a low-tier character, not really that good. She does have 2 special shots. I think one of them is an air shot. One of them is also a combination shot. I think it's Twilight Dance. I think Twilight Dance is her combination shot, which is going to be used with Rumia, which is unlocked in their sub-scenario. Illstar Dive is not that strong of a shot, but I suppose it's better than nothing. And she also has Night Sparrow's Song, which I think is a special fake. It's pretty okay. I believe there are characters that have that are better at faking than she is. So she's kind of just, she's better than a generic. That's really all I can say. And wriggle. A bug yokai specializes in flying kicks, high offensive ability in the air. Above all, her strength is in her challenges. So she has Bug Storm, which is a special challenge. So yeah, so that's a special challenge. I don't know how good it is because I very rarely ever use Bug Storm. Firefly Phenomenon. I don't remember what that is. I don't think it's a pass, is it? I'm gonna find out. No, it's not a pass. What is it? I have no clue. It's not I don't think it's a special dribble. Definitely not a special dribble. Not sure. I think it might be... Oh, that's right. Firefly Phenomenon is a special 1-2. And it's a combination shot with another character that I don't even remember her name. She's a PC98 character. So yeah, don't need to worry about that. Anyway, and her other thing is Wriggle Kick, which is her special shot. It can only be used in the air. And for a weak character, Wriggle Kick's actually pretty decent. But it quickly becomes very useless against better goalies. So yeah, that's the gist of it. Sorry for the long speech here, but I had to explain a lot. I think we're good to go, but I'm going to go ahead and call this a video, just so I can check the volumes, make sure it's all set, and then we can finally start the match. So, until then, I'm the Depressed Dio, and this is Touhou Soccer 2 IS Sub-Scenario. See you guys later.